Need the point.
Welcome to the Wildcast podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Welcome into Wildcast Studios on Rogers TV for another episode of the Wildcast podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats, presented by Appliance Solutions, the premier destination for all KitchenAid, Whirlpool, and Maytag appliances. Right now, they got the KitchenAid built-in savings event. Save $600 when you purchase any 3, $800 when you purchase any 4, or $1,200 when you purchase any 5 or more qualifying KitchenAid appliances. Qualifying purchase made till March 5th. For those and any other deals, go to appliancesolutions.ca. As always, finishers, I am your host, Adam Lund, and I am joined by your favorite co-hoster, Mr. Jeremy Boucher, who's working on his mic. Maybe? Working?
Dangling. Yeah, sorry about that. Just a little mic loosened.
Yeah.
Need to be tightened a little bit. So we got that all figured out. So yeah, it's looking good. We're
spring's in the air, man.
We're back.
Yes.
Yeah, the weather's been fantastic. A lot of melty ice out there.
Yeah. A lot of water. Went on our first walk as a family today.
Oh my! You exercise?
I did.
Oh, smokes!
There's not a lot of sidewalks we've noticed in our area. It's either one end or the other. But yeah, we got out for a good 20-25 minute walk, and she was onesie, full on suit, another suit, a blanket. Like, I'm like,
that'll do it.
I'm like, good Lord, she's gonna, like, she was baking inside the house. As soon as you get outside, she's absolutely fine. But yeah, it's I said to Megan, or not Megan, I said to Layla the other day, I was like, so maybe we can have another one, eh? Because I've been one and done the whole time. And she's like, really? And I was like, well, I mean, if you can guarantee it's a boy, but also no, because we're a little too old for this. But he was starting to get out of the newborn stage. So you pick him up and there's not the scrunches anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just getting a little bit bigger and no longer in that newborn stage. So it's just like, I can see why parents go, let's have one. We're just having one. And then 7 kids later, you're like, yeah, I think we're good now. I think we're good.
7 kids later, and then a show on TLC. You're all set. You're financially set for the rest of your life. Get picked up by TLC.
Yeah, no, 100%. What's up with you? How you been?
Nothing. I got my Stanley Cup here.
Yeah.
Everybody's
fancy purple.
Yeah, nice purple. It's obviously not mine, but
hey, no judgment.
I can proudly say that I'm holding a Stanley Cup before Connor McDavid.
Ouch. But you know what he does have?
I was sitting on that one. He does have a Four Nations.
He does have
Cup.
a Four Nations
That's
Cup.
right.
What a hockey game!
Yeah.
What a hockey game! I did see something from what's his name? Steve Dangle, like their podcast network, that he's like, Canadians are they're going to want this game more than they've ever wanted a Leafs game or an Oilers game or a Flames game or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, it's kind of a tournament. And that whole day I was like, yeah, we got to win. Like, we need to win. And I have not screamed that loud ever. Like, I woke up Kiva and Layla.
So the funny part about that game is I tried to stay awake.
Yeah. What are we doing 9 o'clock? Like, every other Eastern time zone game is at 7 o'clock.
That's the part
8
I don't
o'clock our
understand.
time, and all of a sudden it got to the Four Nations and it was 8 o'clock Eastern.
The nice part about it is the Olympics are in Italy, so they're like 5 or 6 hours ahead of us.
Yeah.
So any games are going to be on at like
10
in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Love it.
Yeah.
Wasn't the gold medal game of the last was it 2014? The Olympics were in Sochi.
Yeah.
And it was on at like 8 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. Yeah, because we had just moved out here, so I was able to watch them. And when they were playing like the earlier games in the afternoon, they were on at like 5 a.m. our time or something like that. And then as like if it was prime time, it was like 8 a.m. New Brunswick time. And I was like,
love it.
Okay, so here's a small advantage of living out here right away. But
that's going to be good with the Olympics is 2 o'clock in the afternoon is probably your gold medal game.
Yeah.
Which is perfect. I can handle that.
And
country will shut down if they make it. But
the Four Nations, I'm excited for the Olympics.
Yep. I want best on best. I didn't like how it was already, there were teams that should have been there that weren't.
Mhm.
Slovakia, Czech Republic, Germany, Switzerland, like these countries should have been there and they weren't. So that's what gets me more excited about the Olympics. And look, if I can get this every year over the All-Star game, I'm all for it.
They were ripping the NBA All-Star game compared to these ones. But I was thinking the other day, I was like, you know how there's the conspiracy, and it's not really a conspiracy, but Gary Bettman hates Canadian teams and doesn't want us to win a Stanley Cup. I was thinking, I was like, there might be a small conspiracy too. That's why we haven't had best on best, because all our stars he wanted aging out so Team USA could take over. You have an older Crosby, an older Marchand. You had no Steve Stamkos, no Carey Price, no top end goaltenders. Not that Binnington wasn't a top end goaltender by the time the tournament ended, but I'm like, did he push this far enough so like Canada maybe falls off a little bit? But again, conspiracies are conspiracies, and that's what we that's what we enjoy, right?
We love conspiracies.
Yes,
we love them.
Well, we're gonna switch up the show a little bit. We do have a guest a little bit earlier, so as always, don't forget to follow us on the social medias. Moncton Wildcast on Twitter, Instagram, Moncton Wildcast Podcast, TikTok Wildcast Podcast as well on YouTube. Don't forget to like and smash the subscribe button. Lets us know you like what we're doing. Click the bell so you don't miss any podcasts, post games. Should we get to our guest?
Let's get rolling.
All right, let's get to our guest.
View from the other bench.
This is the part where I say view from our bench.
Yeah, view from our bench. We're back for another view from our bench. We're joined by our 2021 second round selection. He was drafted in the second round in the NHL draft by the Calgary Flames. Franchise leader in points by a defenseman. Just hit 200 points in the queue as a member of the Wildcats from Salaberry de Valleyfield, Quebec. Number 5, Etienne Morin. Please tell me I got that name right.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Good evening, Etienne. How are you doing?
Good, yourselves?
Not too bad. It's warming up.
Yeah, doing well. Getting some warmer weather here, which is nice.
Yep.
Look, we're gonna get started here. Obviously, based on the goals against that you guys have put up this season, you're clearly taking pride in, the defensive side of the game. I know, Paul Boudelier has been around Boots. As a defensive consultant, how has he helped you develop the season and the decor altogether?
Yeah, it's been he's been really good, and it's just amazing because as soon as you think you've seen it all, there's always someone coming up with something new and new techniques. So I've built so much from that, and so is the rest of the team, and it's just amazing seeing like the progress throughout the year.
We've had you on a few podcast post games. We had you just before Christmas when you hit franchise record, and I want to go back to Sunday. You hit 200 points in the queue. Again, just like when you hit the franchise point record, you went top shelf from the left side of the ice. I guess, did you know you were close to 200? And just talk about getting that mark with Moncton and how you're creeping up on these franchise records. Like, are you aware of all of them?
I am aware of all of them, especially my dad too. So that's mostly why I'm aware of them. But no, it's a great feeling, and I knew for a few games I went pointless, and it's not really my goal. I just want to win, but still, it's fun to hit 200. So
there's another record you got in the chance it's most goals by a defenseman. I know you're pretty close to that too. So I know that's probably in the back of your head.
Yeah, it is too. I don't know how much it is. I think it might be 2 or 3. I'm not quite sure, but I'll just keep focusing on winning because that's the goal. So
yeah, 100%. It's 2 to tie, 3 to get it. But if you get it, great. But you want to stack wins on top before individuals, and that's kind of what everyone wants.
Yeah. I guess we're seeing a lot more players, U18 players in Quebec go outside of the province to play, including yourself. You went to CIHA in Rockland. What was it about that program that had you decide to go there instead of staying in your home province?
It was 2 reasons. The first one is learning English. Might be surprising, but 5 or 6 years ago, I couldn't speak English at all. And then second reason was I was able to play a midget AAA as a second-year Bantam. So it just helped me grew myself as a person, but also as a player, playing with older guys. And it was such a fun experience. And it was an international school, so being around students from all over the world was fun. But I always say this: my first 2 weeks coming in, couldn't speak English. My roommate was a North Korean, so just imagine the first few conversations there. It was pretty weird, but he's a super good guy, and I still have contact with him, so it was really nice.
Awesome. I guess just to follow up with that, we've seen CHIA, in Moncton for the past few years for the Monctonian. When they're in town, do you get an opportunity to talk to them? And what's your message if you do?
Yeah, 100%. I don't remember. I think it was 2 years ago, or it might have been last year after the playoffs. No, it wasn't. It was 2 years ago. I went back to CIH actually because I still had a few guys that were there the first year when I was there. So I went there, practiced with a few guys, and even though I didn't know them, and obviously my message to them would just believe in yourselves, because anything can happen when your mind is in the right place.
Yeah, you go back to COVID times. I know nobody really likes to go back to that, but you were drafted in the second round by the Wildcats, and Jeremy said a few times, if not for COVID, there's no way you last to us in the second round. And the backstory, we did the draft coverage from one of my old house, and round one ended, and he knew exactly who he wanted. And I'm like, oh, this player's like, nope. He wouldn't say who it was because I think he was waiting for you. But I guess was Moncton on your radar as a possible destination? Just take us back to kind of navigating the COVID times as a draft eligible player for the Q. Did you know a lot about Moncton? Did you talk to them? Just kind of take us back there.
So might be weird because Quebec and New Brunswick, Nova Scotia is all pretty close, but I had no idea where Moncton was. So that was my first thinking. And I knew Moncton had me under the radar, and I knew when the first day was done that I was going the first pick the next day. So I was just so excited to see like the facilities and the great players that have been through Moncton, and just how great an organization it is. So even though I didn't know where it was, I learned it pretty quick, and then got here, and it's just been amazing ever since I was able to play junior. So.
And then obviously a couple of years ago, you were drafted by the Flames. I'm assuming you knew where Calgary was before that draft, but just that whole process, like how much of a whirlwind is that? As Caleb gets ready to go through that, maybe you're able to help him go through that. But what is that process like, meeting all the teams, talking all year long, almost getting picked apart to a degree, and then getting there with your family, and you're drafted and you're swept off backstage taking pictures, and you kind of head spinning. Am I wrong?
No, you're completely right. I don't remember much about the draft, to be honest. I remember my name, and then that's it. But a few interviews after all, I don't remember walking. But no, obviously it's I don't think people realize how big of a process it is. It goes throughout the whole year, and you need to perform every single game and every single night. And some nights you didn't sleep as much as you wanted, and you're not in the same mood. So some nights are tougher than the others, but you can't show that. You need to show up and be there and play your games. So it's a big process, and it takes a year long, all the years actually. But it's just unbelievable once it happens. Every single little sacrifice you've been doing for your whole life is so worth it. So I know Caleb is going through a stressful year, but I think he's doing pretty well. So that's good for him.
Does he lean on guys like you and Pekarchek and McKinnon and guys that have been drafted? Does he lean on you as an avenue for questions on what the process is like?
Surprisingly, not really. Maybe I don't think so. He also has a brother that has
that's true. Yeah.
Good questions, if anything. But, I know he talks to me a little bit about it sometimes, but he's such like they say a cool guy. He doesn't seem like someone that's stressed out for those things. And I'm pretty sure he just did what I did, just go step by step and day by day. So
yeah.
Yep.
Like this is where I kind of like to give myself a pat on the back, because I remember after the first round of your Q draft, I got a message from Richie Thibault, and he says, "Who should we take in the second round?" I said, Etienne Morin and Alex Mercier. Well, guess what I got?
Yeah.
And for me to wake up the next day and it actually happened, I was quite proud of myself. So I like to pat myself on the back for that one. on the topic of the Q draft, we're getting to the point of the year when, the Q starts to release, those videos of prospects that are, eligible for this upcoming draft. And Isaac Berube of the Moncton Flyers, he was asked, what player do you look up to? He said, Etienne Morin. So what's it mean to you when there's young players, 15-year-olds that are already looking up to you and, seeing you as a role model?
It's a great question because I don't think it's something even I realize, and it's something I wish I could, because obviously growing up, I was looking at players and people, and I remember watching my first junior game as a kid. I was like, "There's no way I'm ever playing in this. The guys are so big and fast, and then it's just happening." And it's like I'm not even realizing it. So it means so much to me just when kids are looking up to me, or just like yesterday we had the skates, and a little kid coming up to me and asking me for a signature picture because I was just that small kid from Salaberry de Valleyfield who wanted to play hockey as a living, and I get to do it. So I'm just grateful for every day playing hockey.
He says his hometown way better than I said mine. So it's funny. You said you couldn't speak English when you started there to now, and I've been here for 6 years and I still can't speak French. So you're doing much better than
there's classes for that.
Yeah,
Adam,
exactly. I guess I'll finish it up, kind of pulling back the curtain on game days for you as a player. We got a couple home games coming up this weekend. What's a game day like for a home game for you? Are you a superstitious guy? Take the same route to the arena, get dressed the same way, the same music, the same everything? Or are you just, I get there and I make things happen?
So when I got to junior, I was anti about superstitious and stuff like that, because I was like, what if I have a bad night? And then I start thinking about it and I'm like, it's not going to happen. And then I'm going to change it. And then I'm just going to go in a cycle of like, what's going on? And it's not working. So,
right.
But after my draft year, I realized, and I've seen the pro guys around, I was like, they always do the same thing and so long, and they're so passionate about it. So I was like, I'm going to find my own routine. And I did find that I always wake up, eat the same breakfast, same pregame meal. Then I get to the rink. I always do the same stretch before the game. Always tie my left skate first. That's something my dad used to do. So, and then those are pretty much the small details I do. But let's say I'm doing my stretch and something happens, like one of the guys come talk to me, or I'm not stretching at the same place because someone is using that area. I'm just like, it's okay. It doesn't really matter if I'm not at the same area, because I'm doing the same thing for my body that I would if I was at that place. So it doesn't change anything. If I have a bad game, that's just on me. I need to be mentally more prepared. So, but those are the small little details that I do. I think stretching is the big one, especially.
And then to follow that up, obviously the last Q road trip or Quebec road trip for you guys in a couple weeks. I asked Dylan McKinnon this and OJ and other players we've had. What kind of a bus trip guy are you? Are you asleep on the bus? Gaming guy? What else did I have? A movie guy? What kind of? How do you pass the time on those long bus trips?
I'm pretty sure if you go and ask every single player on this team, they're all going to answer the same thing. They're all going to say I play Brawl Stars, which is true because I do. So I don't really sleep on the bus except when I'm really, really tired. That's when I'm going to sleep. But let's say like we came back from Cape Breton. I was awake until 4 a.m. playing Brawl Stars the whole time. So it might not be the good thing to do, because we always talk about video games, my influencer self. But it's been working for me. I like it personally. It just makes me, well, when I lose, obviously I'm competitive, so it doesn't make me relax, but just it doesn't make me think about anything else than the present moment, a little bit like hockey. So that's what I like about it, and it's fun. So
being the oldest guy of the three of us talking, what is Brawl Stars?
It's just a mobile game. It came out in 2015, I believe, and it's just something that all the guys on our team picked up this year. So I'm not the only one playing. We just all play on our phones, and that's what makes bus rides special when we're 6, 7, 8, 10 guys playing the same game. It's really pretty awesome. So
perfect, man. Well, again, on behalf of Jeremy and I, thanks for taking the time to do this. And I usually let the players, if you have any messages for the fans for these final 10 games and into the playoffs, you can definitely let the fans know what's up.
I said the same thing when I went to it was called The Show. It was in Minnesota. It was after the Brick International invitation. I said, enjoy the show. So I'll say the same thing. Just enjoy the show and enjoy the rest of the season.
Perfect. I appreciate the time, Etienne, and good luck in the second half or the last 10 games and in the playoffs.
Of course. Thank you.
Thanks.
200 games already. Like, it's great. I remember being at the house, like, when he got drafted, and you wouldn't tell me who you wanted. And I think that's why you wouldn't tell me who you want.
Well,
especially,
right?
Especially when we were live. I was like, you're like, oh, there's a couple players. And I'm like, is it this guy? You're like, nope. It's like, all right.
I mean, there's reasons why. You don't know who's watching.
Exactly.
Right? You don't know who's
but
watching.
You knew who you wanted as a player
of
in
course,
general.
Right? You knew throughout that season, regardless of how many games, these kids played and stuff like that, I was told from day one that Etienne Morin and Alex Mercier were studs.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me. It stuck with me for the entire season leading up to the draft. And, that's pretty much what I said. I said, when Richie messaged me and he said, who do you want? I said, those two guys.
Yeah.
Well, guess who's available?
Those two guys.
Yeah. I couldn't even tell you. I think it was Cam Squires that was picked between them.
I think I was looking today. I think it was Cam Squires that was picked between the two of them.
And hey, even that's it's a good.
Yeah, you weren't going to go wrong there.
Yeah, but still, like to get the two guys that I literally said I wanted was, I think Morin was 21, Squires was 22, Mercier was 23.
And that was.
Why does it feel so long ago?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah.
So Logan Crosby. So we actually have Grenier, who was 19th, Crosby, who was 20th, Morin, who was 21st, and Mercier was 23rd.
And that's how you build, right? Like
Vincent Collardi was 3rd, Dylan McKinnon, who was 5th.
Yeah. With our pick, of course.
Yeah.
And that was the year after the big trade where we didn't have any first because they went to Halifax as part of that.
Yeah.
And that's how you build successful championship teams, is you hit on not only late picks, but you hit on
the early guys
too. So you're not giving up assets down the road to get, 4 or 5 of these top end players. But yeah, it's just to see him go from, where he came in, and you could see where he was going, and that special season where he was just dynamite. Roller coaster getting drafted, and he's just a leader on this group. And
easily.
Him and Forte Jondron have been together
damn Mike.
Yeah, have been together, basically the two stalwart defensemen back there, and it shows when they play together.
Yeah, they're super good. Their chemistry is really good, and they're playing a lot lately, right? And it's the matchups. They were together for the first of the season. They got separated. And now they're kind of, right at this point, I don't really think it matters who's playing together. They all seem to have, each other figured out on the back end. And, that's never a bad problem to have or a good problem to have.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like I asked Forte one time, you're playing with 7 defensemen sometimes. Does it matter? He's like, no, not really.
No.
Like we're used to these guys. We practice with each player. We got, you just got to be able to communicate, and that's what they're doing. All right. Now that we're done with that, and again, thank you for joining us. Let's get some news and notes, eh?
News and notes from around the Q.
Do you remember that time someone called them overrated?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. News and notes from around the Q presented by Integrity Lawn Care. Check them out on Instagram or give them a call, 506-866-8218, or email them at integrityLawnCare@hotmail.com. It is almost feeling like you should get your lawn care taken care of, except for the fact that there's that much snow in some places. Student Athlete of the Month, Braden Schmidt of the Eagles.
Oh, well, it's
Nerd. Yeah, nerd. There it is.
Yeah.
RDS had the article, according to the Soleil, that they call this Pepsi.
Being demolished for housing and event space in commercial spaces. Of course they're housing.
Yeah.
What else would it be?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like what else you putting in there? That's what everybody's.
That's going to solve a housing crisis. Tearing down a hockey arena.
I think the best part of that was an event space. you've got a 17,000 seat arena next door.
Mhm.
What do you need event space for when you have that arena right there? Of course, you have never been to that arena, have you? Did you go to that one?
Pepsi one?
Yeah.
No, never.
Okay.
No.
The second prospect list for the QMJHL draft is out. CSR unveiled that. I guess being the draft guy, obviously we're going to focus on the playoffs first and then get to the draft. But I guess your assessment, your early thoughts on this list. I will have to say, when I checked it out, I was like, oh yeah, I got to go look at that. And then I looked at it, I'm like, well, that guy's I got a new name at the top of the list as the number one prospect. And then I realized that it's in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
I
hate when they do that.
I was like, that guy, Jeremy's never talked about that.
Yeah.
That's because it's in alphabet.
Yeah.
And I figured it out when Arsenault was like the third name on the list. I was like, oh yeah, okay, now
that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'm just trying to find the list. Because obviously there is a player that I really like, and I need to make sure that I think the last list that came out, he was not on there. So where would I find that list now? I think the Q shared it today, didn't they? They reshared it.
They might have reshared it. I just went to the Q page, went to articles, and it was on like the second page.
Got it right here. Okay, second list. Gotta make sure my guy is on here. And he is. There we go. Perfect. So yeah. Look, there's not going to be as much focus on the draft this year because of we don't know where we're going to be drafting.
Yep.
But I think there's some guys that are some local guys and also some guys that are playing, kind of outside of their territory that could be, a steal. Let's say if we have a second round pick or a third round pick, I think these guys are still going to be available. I still call it Espoir, but it's the Midget Development League. They call it the U17.
Mm-hmm.
It's very strong this year. And those are the guys where, you can probably find a diamond in the rough in, the 7th or 8th round. So I'm kind of excited for this draft. The crop seems to be very strong. It's what looks like to be a very deep draft, which is always good when you have, lack of picks. And
still a battle between Scantlebury and Joseph or an Arsenault. Like, is it a 3-way now with Arsenault, Scantlebury, and Joseph?
So obviously Joseph is kind of heads above the rest, just given, you won't find very many 6'4", 6'5", 190-pound, 15-year-olds out there,
right?
That are dominant. He's not exactly playing not on the best team either. So, you would expect his numbers to be better, but again, he's not playing on a good team. He's playing a good team, not a great team. Scantlebury, the chances of him coming are higher now because of the NCAA rule change. I think those two are kind of 1-2.
Yeah.
But the crop from Newfoundland can't be ignored either. It's I think I mentioned before, probably the best Newfoundland crew that we've seen for Q draft, and I'll go say ever. So it's kind of ironic that the Newfoundland's getting a team next season when that's kind of the cream of the crop. There's another kid, I believe and
they have 3 first-round picks.
Yeah,
2 of them potential lotto with Gatineau and Val-d'Or.
Yeah,
like
it's such a good draft for Newfoundland. It's unbelievable. But I shouldn't say Alexi Joseph isn't having he's having a really good year. But believe it or not, he's not the highest scoring 15-year-old in the league. That is Zachary Horvath Edward from Laval Montreal Rousseau Royal. So that does say nothing. It's Joseph is the top guy,
right?
Bar none, and I think it's from there. Scantlebury. Again, I don't really have a list right now, so it's tough for me to really.
I just wonder if those were still the 3.
Yeah, but those I would say those 2 guys for sure are the top. Nolan Haru is another name to watch. Isaac Berube, I think, with the Flyers is having a phenomenal season. Jack Skinnish, we saw at the prospects game that really impressed us.
Yep.
Mark McPhee from the Flyers is good. There's a lot of really good. It's a very deep draft. Let's put it that way. So I'm confident that regardless of where, Moncton's picking, they're still going to get a very good player, and they'll still find, those late guys in the draft. But at the same time, there could be an American that we don't know about,
right,
that gets picked second overall, third overall, maybe even first,
and
right?
we'll report because of these
Because of the changes.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what I'm excited about on the draft is how many years have we done this? 8's the answer. Where I'm like talking to you about it, and it's like, oh, this kid might not report, so then he gets pushed down because he wants to go to Team X.
Yeah.
You're just not going to have that anymore, and I think that's going to add a level of excitement where they're going to take a player at 6 or 8 or 10, and he's going to be at training camp and playing in preseason games, and potentially, obviously, but I just think that's a new added wrinkle to this draft that we're going to see for the first time. We've already seen it impact the season with 35 players in the queue, but I'm interested to see the draft impact on it.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an American or 2 or 3 taken in the first round. So these.
And we won't have that in the CSR list, eh? These are just.
There'll be Americans' names listed, but they won't be, rated 1 through 50 or 50 to 200.
Oh, okay.
The Americans have their own list on the CSR list.
Right.
But, there could be a guy that's, top guy in the States, could be from Massachusetts for all we know.
Yeah.
And he gets taken first overall. Don't think it's going to happen, but, there is that possibility now that could happen.
It's exciting times, but we're gonna focus on playoff runs before we focus on drafts. But stay tuned. We will have draft talk for all those.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, for all those fans of the draft, we will have it. We're just gonna wait hopefully a little while longer. Q team of the week this week. 2 Wildcats on it, as you can see. Mateo Smilovsky from Baie-Comeau, 10 points in 3 games. Now they included the Monday game. So that's why these numbers have 3 games played instead of just the 2. He had 4 goals, 6 assists in the 3 games. Maxime Massé had 6 points, 4 goals, 2 assists in 2 games. Yuri Pekarchek had 3 games played. Like I said, they're counting the Monday game. Had a goal and 7 assists. Fortier John from Moncton, 1 goal, 3 assists in 3 games. Alexis Bernier of Baie-Comeau with 3 games played, 1 goal, 3 assists. And Mathis Fernandez from Shawinigan, 2-0, a 9.81 save percentage of 0.5 goals against average, and 1 shutout. I like when they give me names that I can pronounce. And Mateo Smilovsky is the QMJHL Player of the Week. Like I said, 10 points in 3 games, which helped Moncton fans because they split the season or they split the 4 games. They played 2. They got 2 more in Baie-Comeau. They split the 2 in Rimouski for us. Are you ready for the Boucher Team of the Week?
Yeah, a little.
It's now time for the one and only Boucher's Team of the Week.
Well, I don't expect that.
I know you didn't.
That was good. If I would have known that was coming, I would have had a more complete roster. But we're a little short-handed this week.
3-on-3 overtime.
It's 3-on-3. It's 3 forwards. So
going for the win. Going for the big 2 points.
Yeah, going for the big win here. So we'll start with in goal. I'm going with Rudy Guimont, just based on the fact that shutouts the Eagles for the second time in a month.
Yeah, and
he's 11-0. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, exactly.
From a backup goalie.
Yeah.
And then 3 forwards, Lucas Landry from Gatineau. Did you see the if you're a goaltender 10 to goal moment of his? Where he scored? No. Okay, take this opportunity go to Gatineau's Twitter.
Yeah.
And find his game-winning goal against Sherbrooke on Sunday. You want to talk about if you're a goaltender 10 to goal? This is one of those moments.
Yeah. No.
So he's getting a Team of the Week because his game-winning goal was scored with 9 seconds left in the 3rd period to put Gatineau into playoff spot.
Oh. Labby, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. If you're gonna go. Like I
Yeah.
think he hesitated and got caught in no
Yeah.
man's land.
Yeah.
What a GWG there, which
So that's with 9 seconds left in
And
the third period
propelled them like
into a playoff spot.
into a
to get-
playoff spot.
to
Yeah.
get 2 points. And then, of course, Matthias Milovsky, as much as I wanted to ignore a 7-point game, you can't ignore a 7-point game.
No.
There's just no, you can't do it. And of course, Caleb Dinwiddie, who's now 1 goal away from tying a franchise record for the most game-winning goals. 12 is the record.
Yeah.
He's got 11. This has been a record since the 1997-1998 season.
And to peel back the curtain on my dad brain, I said to Jeremy, "Oh, is that Garland or Gaudette?" Missed it by that much
Oh, close.
on the years,
Yeah.
a little off, but I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, no."
I think Connor Garland was born that year,
Yeah.
but
You're getting 2.5-hour intervals of sleep. Your years are a little messed up
Yeah.
there.
yeah. Speaking of Dinwiddie, he's in Montreal
Yeah,
for the Habs game. Is it? Is it 2? Was it? You might have already been
I
at
think
the
he was
game.
there last night.
Yeah. So as the Habs game, he's there with all the other top prospects. So it's Justin Carbonneau,
Bill's on in.
Bill Zonin, Zach Morin from the Sea Dogs. Is that?
I think that was it.
That was
There
it.
might
Yeah.
have been one more.
Yeah. So good opportunity for him. I think it's gonna be that's always a fun trip for those guys when they get to. I'm sure he's been to an NHL game before, but
But
you know.
not in this kind of scenario. Well done on the team of the week,
Yeah.
sir.
Hey, look! Now that I know I have my own little jingle,
Yeah.
and another Johnny Rocket voiceover, I'll be back next week with my my five on ice and a goalie.
Yeah, I messaged him on Snowmageddon up there,
Ah, yes.
and he didn't get back to me. I was like, "Oh, he's really sad about Bathurst. He doesn't want to help us." So he's like, "Sorry, buddy. Snowmageddon. Here you go." And I was like, "All right, that's perfect." And then today I put that together and sent it to him, and he loved it. So he's pumped to
Beauty.
be the voice. And I was like, he's got no idea this is coming. And that's why I was like, please don't talk. Please don't talk. And I kind of like, we can see on the screen what I'm about to hit for drops and stuff like that. So I kept it nice and low so you couldn't see what was coming.
Nice.
So yeah. All right, let's
Well
get
done.
to you're welcome.
Weekly Rewind.
I mean, it's a special. People want it. People need it. It needs
Yeah.
its own drop
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
All right, the Wildcats took both games on the week, bringing the record to 43-9-2 for 88 points, which clinches the Maritimes division title. Still first in the Eastern Conference, still first in the QMJHL, and it still is setting up a first round matchup with the Rempar. I'm not sure if Quebec's or Halifax is going to catch them. 4 points behind them. I haven't looked at the schedules yet, but right now it's kind of setting into it's going to be Moncton, Quebec, and Halifax looks like they're going to cross over into 7th to get Blainville, which in about 3 weeks when we get to our playoff picks, there's going to be some. I think we're going to see a really good first round.
So Halifax would
Cross over because they have more points. They go
Right.
7.
and Drummondville will get Gatineau.
Gatineau drops
Got it.
to 8th. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, Gatineau can still move up. I don't think they're going to catch Val-d'Or. They're 10 points behind them, but 2 points behind Halifax and up 2 points on St. John, which, as Jamie Tozer put it, pulled off to the side of the road and let everybody else pass them.
Yeah.
Tough.
That's a tough stretch. What are they, 10 in a row now? 11 in a row?
10 in a row.
Ouch. That's not good.
Yeah, Thursday night, the Eagles went, or the Wildcats went into, no, Friday night. Again, Friday night. I wrote Thursday. Friday went into Cape Breton and took it over. Took the game over. And it's going to be a theme of this recap. Like I said, clinched the division title, but just kind of a slower game to start. But Binkley got us going with his first in the queue. First Alaskan player, I think you.
Yeah, first, as far as I know, first Alaskan player to score in the queue. And he's from Fairbanks.
Fairbanks, yes.
Not
Fairbanks, Alaska.
not Anchorage.
Not Anchorage. I apologize to him twice. He's like, I wasn't sure if I should interrupt you before or during or after or during. I was like, man, do it during. I said Dylan Gill when it was Dylan McKinnon standing right beside me, very angry.
That's such a good moment.
Yeah.
We should have a blooper tape.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, if I still had that, that would be. We should start keeping blooper tapes. But back to hockey. I mean, they went 1 for 7 on the power play, which again, but the second and third period, 17-5 in shots, 14-6 in shots, and another 40-20, another effort of 40 shots. And I was going to go back and look how many they've had, but it feels like the last 5, 6, 7 games, they've had over 40 shots a night.
Yeah, so I think this game was total dominance. I think we can that's pretty obvious. At the same time, Cape Breton was getting over a really tough loss, let's put it that way, to Victo the night before. A team that they, should have beaten, given what we were able to do on Sunday against the same Victo team. I told this to Drew Bear. I said, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys lose to Victo because you're looking ahead to that game against Moncton.
The old trap game.
Yeah. And he said, do you actually think it's a trap game? I said, 100%. And I honest to God, think Cape Breton was looking ahead to that game against Moncton. And when they lost against Victo, they just had no emotion coming into the game against Moncton. They were just so deflated that they lost to the last place team in the league that Moncton just jumped on them and didn't take the foot off the gas. You can look at that score and say 6-0 is a blowout. And I'm the biggest critic of Jacob Malota. If not for him, it's probably 8 or 9-0.
Yeah.
Because he made some saves in the third period that were $10. That would have put this game, would have easily gotten Moncton 2 or 3 more goals.
Yeah.
So I think they were just so deflated from losing the night before that you just had no energy and their give a damn was busted. Like to quote, a country song, I forget who sings it, but their give a damn was busted. And
Jody Messina, I think.
And they just did not want to play against that the next night. I don't think Moncton played a good game. Jody Messina, but Moncton played a great game, but Cape Breton was just not in it. Like that was probably their worst effort of the season. And I just,
and you could see why they're looking ahead to it. I mean, Moncton coming into that has the season series 5-1.
Yeah.
All things going in the second round. This is a matchup you want to play well in the last 2 games of the year against a team that you're probably going to see in the second round. And 3 goals on 9 shots. Like a lot of it wasn't Malota's fault. And it just
they were just
once they got down 3-0. 5 shots, 6 shots, like 11 shots in 2 periods for a team like Cape Breton that is really deep. Is just something you don't generally see. They, Lucas Romeo with an unsportsmanlike, Henneberry with a misconduct, Braden Schmidt with a misconduct. Like they just kind of unraveled in that one. Yeah. And I think as much as they kind of unraveled in losing a trap game to Victo, I think Moncton maybe took something from that in terms of you got Cape Breton, then you've got Victo, then you got a week off, you got Drummondville, you got Blainville, you got Rimouski, you got Victo's coming to the Maritimes ready to play spoiler, and they're trap teams. They're trap games for teams. And it could have been even more. Like Malota was going to be pulled too. Like they were going to go.
They should have pulled them.
They should have. I wasn't a fan of that where it was a goal. It was called off on the ice. He told them to get ready in case the goal was overturned. It wasn't, so he sits him back down. Like I didn't agree with that because Malota can see that. And again, I've never understood. And I know it's incidental contact, but if it's a goal's called off for goalie interference, how there's not a penalty for goalie interference, I don't get it. And, Collard's big body was outside the blue paint, so.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Look, we won 6-0, right? It's not like this
that wasn't
overturned goal was a factor.
No.
But A, Collard was pushed in.
Yeah.
B, he's not in the crease, so he's allowed to be where he is. He is allowed to establish position.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand it because it's called a goal, right?
It was waved off right
It was
away.
waved off,
Yeah.
right? Sorry. So I don't see how they can wave it off. Like he's not interfering with the goalie. He was pushed in, and he's allowed to be where he is.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I don't understand the rule.
No. So yeah, they came out of that thanks to Victoriaville, because that win against Cape Breton the night before allowed us to have a division championship clinching opportunity. The Wildcats took care of it. I didn't want to mention anything before because I didn't want to end up on the unfortunate Q photos preceding events, because we all knew if I did that, we would have been on there. And then Victoriaville, oh boy. Wasn't much to this game. It was the best in the league versus the worst in the league, and
It showed.
it showed. And honestly, anything less than 6-1, I would have been like, they're not really engaged in this one because they've looked at the standings.
Mhm.
I didn't want them to blow them out 10-1. I never want to see that, but I wanted a dominating type score, not 3-1. And I know what Victoriaville did to Cape Breton, and I think they got an overtime point with St. John, I believe, as well. I think they got 3 or 4 points on.
They got they beat Cape Breton in
Yeah.
regulation. They beat Halifax in overtime.
Yeah. So I knew what they had done, but by the same token, like, take the game over, and they did, and 2 for 4 in the power play. There wasn't much wrong in this one.
No, there wasn't much wrong at all. I can't find anything to really complain about. I know we were, we kind of mentioned to each other how we didn't like how the top line was still playing in the in the third period and all this other stuff, but at the same time, it's not really how Gardner's always foot to the floor.
Yeah.
Don't stop playing, and
like I joked with you, we don't have a third and fourth power play unless in case we get up 8-1.
Yeah.
Like you could put on our bottom 6 on the power play, but this power play isn't lighting the world on fire. So if you can work on some things, and I know that they'll never call this, but a simulated practice where they can work on some things. Okay. But at some point we got to see maybe the 2 tallest goaltenders in the league.
Yeah. That backup was, I mean, so Gabriel Dag is what, 6'6",
I think.
No, is that tall?
I don't know. I'm about to look. 6'4".
6'4", and Anthony Cantanzariti?
Cantanzarini, I think. Yeah.
I can't.
6'5".
6'5", yeah. So we, on average, well, I guess if we get into playoffs, we're playing against Quebec, and they've got a 6'7" goalie. So
yeah. You're taking a lot of averages. I felt bad for Gabriel Dag.
Given how he played against Cape Breton and Halifax.
Yeah.
At the same time, don't really know. I understand because Brandon Lavoie has left the team /hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Or butt hurt. So that's the injury. And they've got a backup who hadn't played any Q action before. So you're like, do you play your starting goalie for the third game in 4 days, or do you start a goalie who has 0 Q experience against the top team in the league? And I guess the plan was to just ride it out with Gabriel Dag, and they did for 7 goals. So hey,
6, yeah.
I wanted to give him my goalie of the week on the team of the week, but
you run into that one.
Couldn't really do that.
Yeah, you would have thought maybe Catanzari maybe played Halifax and then let Dag get back to back. But when you got a guy that's been in the league for 3 years and a guy that's never played, you got to get him in at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And schedule wise, I'm sure they would have loved to play Moncton second and played Halifax third to give the kid his first start. But it was just, you start to get. I was wondering at what point we stopped doing the flybys. And it was the Etienne Morin 200-point goal early in the third. But we talked about it last week and how should we change things up? Should we have different looks on the defense? Morin, you said Morin, Forte John, they play better offensively. Well, McKinnon was out with an injury /sick. We're not sure which one. and we got our wish, and we scored 16 goals in 2 games.
Yeah, that's always a positive.
Yeah.
Always positive. I can
Vouch that that's
I can be
positive.
happy with that.
Yeah.
Can't say the same will happen next weekend.
No, and you look ahead to next weekend. I mean, they've got basically a 7-game series against 7 very good opponents. I think you said on the post game over sub 600 or above 600 teams.
Yeah, so it's I was taking keep right into consideration, but the next 5 games are against teams with a 600 winning percentage or higher.
Yeah.
Like what a stretch. Like this is a good stretch.
This is perfect.
Yep.
How many times have we looked at a schedule at the last week in February and the end of March? It's all Maritime games, and it's generally the teams on the bottom that you're just walking through 7-8-1 as you get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah. I didn't realize how close Blainville was to Drummondville now. Like, it doesn't sound like much, but they're 7 points behind. Like, that's, with 11 games left in the season.
And they got 2 games in hand on them too.
2 games in hand.
And we see
probably a couple matchups.
I think so. We see them twice. So Blainville takes
not
4.
Hope.
Yeah, if Blainville takes 4 points from us,
let's call those 2 games against Moncton the games in hand.
Yeah, there you go. But you're getting literally 5 games of potential 3rd round matchups.
Yep.
4 games because you got Blainville twice in a week. But Drummondville, Blainville are the top 2 teams in the Western Conference. Sherbrooke's right in there, and then Blainville again, and obviously the one in Rimouski. So you're getting playoff hockey, and I can't think of a better scenario for a team. Not that's needs it, I guess, but you're getting 5 games against good playoff opponents that gets them hardened, ready to go before you got St. John Bathurst, Halifax Bathurst.
Yeah. And we're getting Blainville on a 3-3, but we're also going to be playing a back-to-back, playing Drummondville the night before. So let's call it even.
Yeah.
Right? Because Blainville's probably going to take care of business against Bathurst. They're probably going to take care of business against
St. John, I think. They're doing the full New Brunswick. Oh, Charlottetown.
So Charlottetown's been playing good hockey, but with Butler out,
Kersey out, Campbell
out, it could be tough. But
and we're getting Blainville on a 3-3, and then we get Blainville there on the back end of a 3-4 against Rimouski and Sherbrooke.
Yeah.
So the scheduling isn't perfect, but the fact that you're getting 5 games against teams you're going to meet potentially in the 3rd round this late in the season when everybody's kind of loaded up, I love it. Blainville has 1 game against Drummondville on the 9th, right after the Sunday, right after our game. So we got a 4:00, and then 24 hours later they go to Drummondville. So they got Gatineau. They pretty much play Charlottetown twice, us twice, Bathurst, Drummondville, Gatineau, 2 against Rennes and 2 against Val-d'Or.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to these games. These are going to be good. These are going to be fun games. They're going to be, you always want to beat the big dog.
Mm-hmm.
So these 2 teams are going to want to come in and lay the smack it down, as the Rock used to say, on our jabroni asses.
How many more wrestling references can we get in? And Moncton beat them 5-1 in Drummondville earlier this year.
That was early.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like
I get what you mean. But
like we at least like I'm not putting any stock in that, but I'm saying like we're at least going to split the season series at worst with Drummondville, because that's not an easy rink to win in.
No.
So, but yeah.
No, these will be fun games. It's a Friday. It's a Friday and a Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah. That's some good crowds. I want some good crowds.
7,000 last night or Sunday night.
What are they doing this weekend for?
No idea.
March 1st? When's March 1st?
Blainville, Saturday.
March 1st is Saturday?
Yeah, man. It's so weird. Like January takes
March
700.
1st is the Superstore jerseys.
Is it?
I think so.
I thought it was March 15th.
Oh.
I don't know. They don't post anything anywhere.
Saturday's March 1st.
Yeah, man. January takes 700 days, and February takes like 10.
Holy crap!
Yeah, no, they don't have anything on their promotional schedule, but they may have different theme nights. When is our
I thought it was
CHL?
pretty sure it's the Superstore jerseys this Saturday. And Friday night, I can't remember what they're doing Friday night for a theme. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But
No, it's gonna be good games. Drummondville's clearly, best in the West for now.
And Blainville, that's got a team
creeping right back up.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at a team like I think a lot of people expected Blainville to maybe start falling off after they traded Vauchamp. But I mentioned last week, like Guryanov and Charbonneau have incredible chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a team I think you want to look for next season.
Yeah.
They're going to be...
Oh, didn't you say they got like 4 picks in 2026 that they're going to load up on?
Blainville is going to be probably... As much as Chicoutimi looks good next season, I think Blainville looks better. Just
Really?
based on what they can potentially do with the assets they have. Because, they get 4 first-round picks.
You are correct, sir. Saturday, March 1st is the Moncton Wildcats Design the Jersey contest.
Yeah.
Which it's been floated online. You can go find it. I like it. Look pretty good.
I don't think I've seen it. Is it online somewhere?
Yep.
No.
It's blue. It's the blue one.
Okay,
yeah. It's a blue one. That's what I'll tell people. Don't want to give it away. There's like 3 teams. Because you can put Bathurst, or I guess you can put Newfoundland in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you've been saying like you like what Blainville has.
Yep.
In terms of a roster and in terms of what they could look like next year, and you're looking at 2 teams in a bidding war for certain players with a lot of first round picks that works for the teams that are getting rid of players.
Yeah, there's next year's trade period could very well be interesting. The draft could be interesting as well because you've got teams like Cape Breton who are just going to be wanting to unload guys and to restock the cupboards, and then you got some teams that are going to want to get rid of guys. Like Bacoma's not going to want to keep Justin Poirier for another year.
No,
right? Like they're not going to be doing nothing next year, so they're going to want to get rid of Justin Poirier.
Mm-hmm.
Rouen, are they going to want to move on from Bill Zonin? Maybe. Like it's going to be a really interesting 24. I was going to say 24 months, but that's 2 years. 12 months.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just looking at their team. Who do you start Friday? Because to me, you're going with Rudy. If it's me, I'm going with Rudy. I mean, he's 11-0. He took the ball when Rousseau was down. Hasn't allowed, I think it was a goal in his last 3 games, more than a goal a game.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I'm going with him. But Rousseau was brought in to be the number 1 goalie, and he's back. So
yeah, this is a very good problem to have.
Yeah. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. If we have a goalie controversy, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a controversy, but
it's not a controversy. It's more, it's confidence. It's, you've got 2 guys who can stop the puck. If there's a controversy right now, I think it's in Cape Breton.
Yeah.
That's a controversy.
Yeah.
Like and I was told today, maybe it might actually be Cornwallis's net going forward.
Oh, really?
So we will see.
We shall see. We'll probably find out by the time we head there. But yeah, Rudy's had 8 goals in 6 games.
Yeah.
With 2 shutouts in the month that he's been able to have the net. So I think, they're going to play out of these 5. They're going to go back and forth. I
Mhm.
think with them allowing Rousseau to get a Victo game, I'm not saying they gave it to him because they were the worst team in the league. I mean, he was getting back from being healthy, so it's a good situation to put him in there. But I think the way that Rudy carried the ball in those 6 games in the month, I don't see why you wouldn't start him on Friday. His confidence is 100% there, and you have to see what he's got against the big dogs. And the number 1 team
true.
against the number 1 team, you know what you brought in Russo for in the playoffs. This isn't playoff hockey, but these 2 games are going to feel like playoff hockey out there. They're going to be tight checking, not a lot of chances. And I think you give him a chance to see what he would be like against the top dog.
I would be against it. I think you got to give him 1 start.
Yeah.
1 of the 2. I don't know. I think Rousseau's kind of got a history against Drummondville. So do you go down that route? Or do you say, well, Drummondville's, since they're kind of familiar with him, maybe we give it to Rudy. There's either way. I just hope I want Gabe Smith and Dylan McKinnon back in the lineup. That's all I ask for.
That too.
That's what I want. That's what I need. Whoever starts, I'm comfortable with both guys. I want Gabe Smith, but I want Dylan McKinnon back in the lineup. That's mine.
Yeah.
I don't care who starts. Just give me back my grappler.
I don't care who starts as long as those 2 forward and defensemen start, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's, again, I saw it. I think it was either on Facebook or it was on the board. Like, once Gabe Smith comes back and slots into where he slotted in, you got a good problem to have on your 4th line as well. And again, they can go 11-7 if they want to keep defensemen fresh. We've seen Mullen be the odd guy out. We've seen usually Binkley being the odd guy out. So I want to see, if we're going against these top dogs, I want to see us have our top units going against it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a full lineup for these 2 games. That would be for this 2 games. These 2 games down the road trip, I would love to see a full lineup.
Yeah, and stay out of the box.
Yeah, that's probably.
Drummondville's got a 25% power play. They're number 4 in the league, and Blainville is the number 1 power play team at 32%.
Oh,
yeah. So
nice.
Again, Saturday you've got the number 1 power play against the number 1 penalty kill, but don't even leave it to that. Just keep it. Stay out of the box. Play smart, and come on, Baie-Comeau in 2 games. if we're gonna get W's, we need Baie-Comeau to get W's. Right?
We said last week we didn't want to rely on help.
No, we don't want to, but it's always nice to be there.
Shaking my finger.
It's always nice to be there when you don't need it. Are you ready for everyone's favorite part of the show?
That is correct.
All right.
Eric Murray, realtor, buy our house from him. Stick tap of the week.
No, Johnny Rocket voice.
Yes. I was looking for that one. Stick tap of the week. It's going to a new cafe that has opened downtown Main Street called the Dandelion Cafe. It's very cutesy, very demure. No, it's opened in the same complex as the Crown Plaza in Baton Rouge. You'll walk right past it. It is a friend of Megan's who opened it. We went there on Sunday before the hockey game for a little bite to eat and a caffeinated beverage. Look, if you need a coffee before going to the game, that's not going to cost you Avenir Center coffee. This is the spot to go. If you want a quick bite to eat without paying Avenir Center prices, it's the place to go. It's a cafe. It's got muffins, bagels, cheesecakes. I love my cheesecake.
Yeah, I saw the menu and they started following the Instagram and I saw their menu. I was like, 4 kinds of cheesecakes, 5 kinds of cheesecakes.
Yeah. So they got coffees, they got mochas, they got steamers, which I guess is just warmed up milk with whipped cream and drizzle on it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Cappuccinos, espressos, you name it. It's a cafe. They got it. The Dandelion Cafe is this week's Stick Tap of the Week. It is open now, and their plan is to stay open later on game days.
Smart.
The Stick Tap of the Week, sponsored by Eric Murray Real Estate with the RE/MAX Avante team. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the greater Moncton or surrounding area, make sure to check him out on social media or give him a call at 506-863-8802.
All right, that brings us to the Wildcast. Wildcat of the Week
Not
presented
bad.
by Rosemary Lynn Massage and Spa. Teeth whitening is now available for booking starting at $85. 3 15-minute sessions are included with your service price. Add another 15 minutes for only $20. Don't forget, they have the loyalty card. Buy 9 spa services, get 1 free. Call them at 506-830 or 1224 or visit them at 1224 Mountain Road, and they are now accepting new clients. I mean, this guy was he's the straw that stirs the drink right now. Him and Denway, it really hasn't affected them moving Sump off the line, putting Cote on the line, putting Sump back on the line every now and then. These two are just forming a dynamic duo. He's got a goal, 5 assists in the 2 games, and he just sees the ice so well. Go to our YouTube, to the post game. I asked him how he sees the ice so well. He found Cote not even looking a couple games ago. Your Wildcat of the Week is number 88, Uri Pekarczyk.
I got your eye on you.
That'll do it for this week's show. Again, big thanks to Etienne Morin for joining us on the show. Again, it's 10 games left in the season. We're already at that point, 5 home games left already. So went down to get 50-50 tickets the last game. Saw a good lineup for season ticket holders for playoff packages. Go get them. They also have a flex pack, a 16-game flex pack for playoffs. I know in years past you've only needed enough tickets for 2 rounds. Probably going to want to get a full set this year. And if you're going to the games this weekend, stop at the cafe?
Dandelion Cafe.
And if you have the Hometown Rewards app, you get a discount until March 21st.
Tell them Jeremy sent you.
If you don't get anything for it, but just tell them Jeremy from the podcast sent you.
That's true.
That's what they should do.
They should make a Wildcast Wespresso.
Set it up.
The Wespresso.
The Wespresso. Set it up. Yeah. Set it. You're more into the caffeinated drinks, and
that is true.
But probably cheaper than Starbucks though.
Yeah.
Right. And you're helping local.
Yeah.
You're helping Canadian, as they say. Yeah. Download their Hometown Rewards app until March 21st to get discounts to the final 5 home games. For Jeremy, I'm Adam. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.